There's something about certain people. They walk into a room, and without saying a word, they command attention. It's not because they're loud. It's not because they're showing off wealth or status. It's because they carry something deeper, an energy, a presence, a silent confidence that makes the world take notice. True wealth isn't about flashing designer brands, driving the most expensive car, or proving your worth to others. The wealthiest, most successful individuals move differently, speak differently, exist differently. They don't rush. They don't seek approval. They don't try to impress because they don't need to. Their presence alone is enough. This is what separates those who chase success from those who attract it effortlessly. It's not just about money. It's about how you carry yourself, how you value your time, how you project certainty without ever forcing it. In this episode, we're going to break down the 10 unspoken habits of truly wealthy individuals. The way they move, the way they handle pressure, the way they make people feel. Because wealth isn't just something you earn, it's something you embody. Let's begin. 1. Quiet luxury over loud brands. There's something interesting about the way truly wealthy people carry themselves. It's not in the clothes they wear or the cars they drive. It's not in the logos or the price tags. It's in something quieter, a presence, a way of existing in the world that doesn't demand attention, yet somehow commands it. True wealth, real, deep wealth, doesn't seek validation. It doesn't need to prove anything. The people who have it, the ones who have lived in its presence for years, don't feel the urge to announce it. They don't chase status through oversized logos, glittering displays, or loud declarations of success. Because they understand something most people don't. When you truly own something, you don't need to show it off. There's a reason why the wealthiest individuals in the world, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, even Steve Jobs, rarely indulged in flashy fashion statements. Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in the 1950s. Jobs wore a black turtleneck and jeans every day. Bezos, for all his billions, is often seen in a simple button-up and jeans. None of them needed a brand name to tell the world who they were. Their presence alone said everything, but this isn't just about clothing. It's a way of moving through life. The most powerful people don't just curate their wardrobes. They curate their energy, their spaces, their time. They don't clutter their lives with excess, not in their possessions, not in their words. They don't fill silence just to be heard. They don't make choices to impress others. Instead, they seek what is lasting, meaningful, and true. Why is it that the loudest person in the room is rarely the most respected? Why do those who try the hardest to prove themselves often seem the most insecure? Maybe it's because true confidence, like true wealth, is felt, not advertised. It's not in the things you own. It's in how you carry yourself, in how little you need external validation to know your own worth. Think about this for a moment. If no one were watching, if there was no one to impress, would you still make the same choices? Would you still buy the same things? Would you still want what you want? The world will always have people who measure success by noise, by the size of their house, the car they drive, the labels on their clothes. But the ones who move with quiet luxury, they don't chase attention. They let the world notice on its own. Because true wealth isn't loud. It never has to be. 2. Move unhurried. Speak deliberately. There's something fascinating about the way certain people move through the world. They never seem rushed, never seem desperate to fill the silence. Their presence alone carries weight, not because they demand attention, but because they don't need to. You can tell a lot about someone by the way they walk into a room. Some people rush in, eager to be seen, their energy scattered. Others move slowly, deliberately, with a quiet confidence that doesn't beg for validation. It's not arrogance, it's not superiority, it's something simpler: control. Control over their body, over their emotions, over their need to prove anything at all. The truly wealthy, the ones who have built something real, carry themselves differently. They don't fidget, they don't rush their words or talk over people. They pause before they speak. They let silence do some of the work for them. And that silence, it's powerful. It forces people to listen. It makes every word mean more. There's a reason why the most respected leaders in history, figures like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, even historical icons like Marcus Aurelius, spoke slowly, deliberately. They knew that speed doesn't equal intelligence and volume doesn't equal power. In fact, the people who speak the fastest, who rush to get their words out, often come across as uncertain. Because certainty isn't in how much you say. It's in how little you need to say. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed that the loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful? That the ones who feel the need to constantly explain themselves often seem the least in control? The wealthiest, most influential individuals don't rush to fill the silence. They are comfortable with stillness, comfortable with letting things unfold at their own pace. And this applies to more than just speech. The way you move, your posture, your gestures, your ability to remain calm under pressure, communicates something before you even open your mouth. Someone who moves with ease, with patience, with self-assurance naturally commands respect. It's an unspoken signal: I am in control. I am not here to impress you. I am here because I belong. So how do you cultivate this energy? Start by slowing down. Resist the urge to rush your words. When someone asks you a question, take a pause before answering. Let your words carry weight rather than just filling space. When you walk into a room, do it with awareness, not urgency. Move as if you have nowhere to be, but exactly where you are. Because the most powerful people don't move faster. They move with purpose. They don't talk more. They talk when it matters. And when you learn to do the same, you won't need to demand attention. You will simply attract it. 3. Make others feel instantly valued. There's something unforgettable about people who make you feel seen, not just acknowledged, not just heard, but truly noticed, as if for a moment you are the only person in the room. This is a kind of wealth that goes beyond money. A kind of influence that has nothing to do with power, yet somehow attracts it effortlessly. Think about the last time someone made you feel important. Maybe they remembered a small detail about your life. Maybe they listened, not just waiting for their turn to speak, but actually absorbing what you were saying. Maybe they looked you in the eye, fully present, making you feel as if what you said mattered. These are small things, subtle things, and yet they are the foundation of deep, lasting influence. The wealthiest, most powerful individuals understand this instinctively. They know that success isn't just about intelligence or ambition, it's about relationships. And the people who build the strongest relationships aren't the ones who talk the most or impress the hardest. They are the ones who make others feel significant. There's a reason why some of the most legendary business figures, people like Warren Buffett and Richard Branson, are known for their ability to connect, not through status, not through money, but through presence. When they speak with someone, they aren't distracted. They aren't glancing at their phone or scanning the room for someone more important. They give their full attention. And that is rare, because in a world that moves fast, where everyone is fighting to be heard, where distractions are endless. Being fully present is a superpower. This goes beyond business. It applies to friendships, relationships, even passing interactions with strangers. The people who leave a mark on us aren't necessarily the smartest, the wealthiest, or the most successful. They are the ones who made us feel valued, the ones who looked at us and, without saying a word, communicated, "I see you, I respect you, you matter." And that energy, it attracts everything: opportunities, loyalty, admiration, without ever having to ask for it. So, how do you cultivate this kind of presence? Start with the simplest thing. Listen, not just to respond, but to understand. When someone speaks, be fully there. Notice the details. Remember the things they say. Make people feel like their words aren't just background noise in your life, but something worth holding on to. Another key: make eye contact. It sounds small, but in a world where attention is constantly divided, actually looking at someone, fully without distraction, communicates something powerful. I am here, with you, right now, and most importantly, drop the need to impress. The people who are the most magnetic aren't the ones trying to prove their worth. They are the ones who, instead of making everything about themselves, turn their attention outward. They don't chase validation. They give it. Because when you master this, when you can walk into any room and make the people in it feel important, you don't just gain wealth. You become someone people never forget. 4. Quality over quantity in every aspect of life. There's a moment in life when you realize that more isn't always better, that filling your world with excess, whether it's possessions, relationships, or commitments, doesn't create happiness. It creates noise. The wealthiest, most successful individuals have mastered something most people overlook: curation. They don't chase volume, they chase value. Think about the way truly wealthy people live. Their homes aren't cluttered with meaningless things. Their wardrobes aren't overflowing with clothes they never wear. Their schedules aren't packed with unnecessary meetings. Instead, they select, they refine, they choose fewer but better. Every decision is intentional. This philosophy isn't just about material things. It extends to every aspect of life. The truly wealthy don't surround themselves with people who drain their energy. They don't waste time on shallow connections. They invest in deep, meaningful relationships. They aren't interested in having the most friends. They're interested in having the right friends, the kind who challenge them, support them, and elevate their thinking. The same applies to time. Wealthy individuals don't fill their days with endless tasks just to feel productive. They focus on what truly moves the needle. They understand that saying no is just as important as saying yes. In fact, the more successful someone becomes, the more selective they are with their time. Because time, unlike money, is something you can never get back. But perhaps the most profound application of this principle is in the mind. Look at the way truly successful people think. They don't let their minds be cluttered with distractions, gossip, or unnecessary worries. They focus on clarity. They seek knowledge that deepens their understanding rather than just entertains them. They don't consume everything. They consume wisely. This idea, choosing quality over quantity, goes against the way most of the world operates. Society encourages accumulation: more money, more clothes, more followers, more commitments. The illusion is that if you just have more, you will feel fulfilled. But the truth is, excess doesn't create abundance. It creates overwhelm. So how do you adopt this mindset? Start by simplifying. Look at the areas of your life where you are holding on to too much. Things, relationships, obligations, and ask yourself, does this add value or is it just taking up space? In your possessions, focus on craftsmanship over trendiness. Choose things that last, things that truly serve you. In your relationships, prioritize depth over breadth. Surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. In your time, eliminate the unnecessary. Protect your schedule like you would protect your wealth. In your mindset, filter what you consume. Read things that expand your thinking, not just entertain you. Because wealth, real wealth, isn't about owning everything. It's about owning only what truly matters. When you stop chasing quantity and start curating quality, everything changes. Life becomes lighter, sharper, more intentional. And the irony, when you focus on less, you actually gain more. 6. Value time more than material things. There is one resource more valuable than money, more scarce than opportunity, more irreplaceable than anything you can own: time. Yet most people treat it as if it's unlimited, wasting it on distractions, meaningless conversations, or chasing material possessions that, in the grand scheme of things, add nothing to their lives. Truly wealthy individuals, those who have built lasting success, understand something that most people don't. Money is replaceable, time is not. You can lose money and earn it back. You can make a bad investment and recover. But time, once it's gone forever. This is why the truly successful protect their time with the same intensity that others protect their money. They are selective about what they commit to. They don't allow their schedules to be hijacked by trivial tasks or energy-draining people. They don't fill their days just to feel busy. They focus on impact. Every hour is accounted for, not in a rigid way, but in a way that ensures they are spending time on what truly matters. Now contrast this with the way most people operate. They check their phones first thing in the morning, losing 30 minutes to meaningless scrolling. They say yes to meetings that could have been an email. They fill their free time with consumption, watching, scrolling, reacting, rather than creating, building, or growing. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not intelligence, not background, not even luck. It's how they use their time. Consider someone like Elon Musk. He runs multiple billion-dollar companies, yet he still makes time to innovate, learn, and work on long-term visions. How? By guarding his time ruthlessly. He doesn't waste it on unnecessary distractions. He doesn't let his calendar get filled with things that don't push his vision forward. He treats his time as his most valuable asset, because it is. This mindset applies to every area of life. Wealthy individuals don't just prioritize their work time. They protect their personal time, their thinking time, their moments of rest and reflection, because they know that clarity doesn't come from constant action. It comes from giving yourself space to think. So, how do you adopt this principle? Start by auditing your time. Ask yourself, where is my time actually going? Am I spending it on things that bring long-term value or just short-term gratification? If I lost an hour every day to distractions, what could I have done with that time instead? Then, become intentional. Start treating time the way you treat money, with awareness, purpose, and discipline. Eliminate the unnecessary. Say no to things that don't align with your goals. Create space for what actually moves your life forward. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't just about how much money you have. It's about how much time you truly own. And those who understand this, they don't just make money. They make life work for them. 6. Value time more than material things. There is one resource more valuable than money, more scarce than opportunity, more irreplaceable than anything you can own: time. Yet most people treat it as if it's unlimited, wasting it on distractions, meaningless conversations, or chasing material possessions that, in the grand scheme of things, add nothing to their lives. Truly wealthy individuals, those who have built lasting success, understand something that most people don't. Money is replaceable. Time is not. You can lose money and earn it back. You can make a bad investment and recover. But time, once it's gone forever. This is why the truly successful protect their time with the same intensity that others protect their money. They are selective about what they commit to. They don't allow their schedules to be hijacked by trivial tasks or energy-draining people. They don't fill their days just to feel busy. They focus on impact. Every hour is accounted for, not in a rigid way, but in a way that ensures they are spending time on what truly matters. Now contrast this with the way most people operate. They check their phones first thing in the morning, losing 30 minutes to meaningless scrolling. They say yes to meetings that could have been an email. They fill their free time with consumption, watching, scrolling, reacting, rather than creating, building, or growing. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not intelligence, not background, not even luck. It's how they use their time. Consider someone like Elon Musk. He runs multiple billion-dollar companies, yet he still makes time to innovate, learn, and work on long-term visions. How? By guarding his time ruthlessly. He doesn't waste it on unnecessary distractions. He doesn't let his calendar get filled with things that don't push his vision forward. He treats his time as his most valuable asset, because it is. This mindset applies to every area of life. Wealthy individuals don't just prioritize their work time. They protect their personal time, their thinking time, their moments of rest and reflection, because they know that clarity doesn't come from constant action. It comes from giving yourself space to think. So, how do you adopt this principle? Start by auditing your time. Ask yourself, where is my time actually going? Am I spending it on things that bring long-term value or just short-term gratification? If I lost an hour every day to distractions, what could I have done with that time instead? Then, become intentional. Start treating time the way you treat money, with awareness, purpose, and discipline. Eliminate the unnecessary. Say no to things that don't align with your goals. Create space for what actually moves your life forward. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't just about how much money you have. It's about how much time you truly own. And those who understand this, they don't just make money. They make life work for them. 7. Carry natural authority without force. There's a difference between commanding respect and demanding it. Some people try to impose authority through volume, intimidation, or status symbols, but the truly influential, they don't need to force anything. Their presence alone is enough. They carry authority naturally, without ever needing to announce it. Think about the most respected leaders in history, figures like Nelson Mandela, Marcus Aurelius, or even modern icons like Warren Buffett. They didn't need to prove their power. They didn't walk into a room demanding attention. Yet, when they spoke, people listened. Why? Because their authority wasn't based on dominance. It was based on presence, wisdom, and control. True influence isn't about overpowering others. It's about being so centered in yourself that people can't help but take notice. The wealthiest and most successful individuals exude a quiet confidence that doesn't seek validation. They don't interrupt. They don't try to be the loudest voice in the room. Instead, they listen. They observe. And when they do speak, their words carry weight, not because they are many, but because they are measured, deliberate, and thoughtful. But this kind of presence isn't just about speech. It's about the way you move, how you hold yourself, how you react to situations. Someone who is constantly fidgeting, speaking too fast, or trying too hard to impress signals uncertainty. In contrast, someone who stands tall, speaks with intention, and doesn't rush to fill the silence, exudes confidence. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have an unshakable calm about them? No matter what's happening around them, chaos, stress, pressure, they remain composed. That calmness, that's authority. It's the kind of energy that makes people instinctively trust you, respect you, and want to follow your lead. But here's the key. Real authority isn't something you project. It's something you embody. It's not about pretending to be powerful. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands respect. So, how do you cultivate this? First, control your emotions. The most powerful people don't react impulsively. They pause, they think, they respond with clarity, not emotion. This alone sets them apart. Second, speak less, but with more purpose. Don't talk just to fill space. When you do speak, say things that matter. Let your words be precise, meaningful, and intentional. And third, be completely comfortable with silence. Weak people try to dominate conversations to prove their importance. Strong people let silence do the work for them, because true authority doesn't come from force, it comes from presence. And when you master this, you won't need to chase influence. It will come to you naturally. 8. Show genuine interest in others. There's something rare about people who truly listen. Not the kind of listening where someone nods while waiting for their turn to speak, but real presence. The kind where you feel like, for a moment, you are the most important person in the world. That kind of attention is magnetic, and it's no coincidence that the wealthiest, most powerful individuals have mastered it. Success isn't built in isolation. It's built on connections, real, deep, meaningful connections. And the people who create the strongest relationships aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who make others feel heard. Think about the most charismatic people you've ever met. What made them stand out? Was it their intelligence, their achievements? Maybe. But more often than not, it was the way they made you feel. They weren't just waiting for their turn to talk. They weren't distracted, checking their phone or scanning the room. They were fully present, fully engaged, and genuinely curious. People like Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, and even historical figures like Abraham Lincoln had this quality. They understood that people don't remember what you say as much as they remember how you made them feel, and making someone feel valued, truly valued, is a rare skill. But why does this matter? Because success isn't just about talent or strategy, it's about influence. And the fastest way to influence someone, make them feel important, make them feel seen. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about pretending to care so you can get something in return. It's about developing a genuine curiosity about people, asking good questions, noticing details, remembering what matters to them. Because in a world where everyone is rushing, where attention is fragmented, where most conversations are surface level, being fully present is a superpower. So, how do you practice this? Start small. The next time you talk to someone, resist the urge to think about what you'll say next. Just listen. Instead of responding with your own story, ask them more about theirs. Notice something about them, something small, something specific. People don't forget those who truly notice them. When you do this, something interesting happens. People start gravitating toward you. They trust you more. They want to be around you. They remember you, not because you impressed them, but because you made them feel seen in a way few people ever do. And that is real wealth. Because at the end of the day, money comes and goes. But the ability to connect, to build relationships that matter, that will make you unforgettable. 9. Handle pressure with graceful ease. There's a moment in every challenge where pressure builds, when the stakes rise, when things don't go as planned, when uncertainty takes over. Most people react instinctively. They panic, they stress, they let their emotions take control. But the truly powerful, they remain steady. There's something magnetic about people who handle pressure with ease. The ones who don't get flustered, who don't overreact, who stay composed even when everything around them is chaotic. It's not that they don't feel stress, it's that they've mastered the art of control. This kind of emotional stability is one of the most valuable assets in life. It's what separates the people who survive from the people who thrive. And it's no coincidence that the wealthiest and most successful individuals have this skill. They understand that in any high-stakes situation, the calmest person in the room is usually the one who wins. Think about someone like Warren Buffett, a man who has seen markets crash, entire industries collapse, and global recessions unfold. Yet, through it all, he remains calm, calculated, and unfazed. Why? Because he knows that panic is expensive, emotionally, financially, professionally. The people who make decisions out of fear often make the worst ones. This principle applies to more than just business. Look at the world's greatest athletes, the best negotiators, the most effective leaders. They all have one thing in common: composure under pressure. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They slow down when others speed up. They focus when others spiral. And, because of that, they remain in control, not just of the situation, but of themselves. But here's the truth. Staying calm under pressure isn't a natural talent. It's a trained skill. It comes from practice, from learning how to slow your mind down when everything around you is speeding up, from understanding that most problems feel bigger in the moment than they actually are. So how do you build this kind of presence? Start by changing your response to stress. The next time you feel tension rising, instead of reacting instantly, pause, take a breath. Give yourself a moment before you act. When faced with uncertainty, ask yourself, is this problem as big as it feels right now? Will it still matter a week from now? A month? Perspective reduces panic. Train yourself to lower your voice instead of raising it. People instinctively trust those who stay composed under pressure. Over time, this becomes second nature. You stop reacting impulsively. You start making better decisions, not because you don't feel stress, but because you've learned how to navigate it without losing yourself. And that is what separates those who rise from those who break. Because in the moments when everything is on the line, the person who stays calm is always the one who wins. 10. Never feel the need to prove their worth. There's a quiet strength in people who don't seek validation. They don't try to impress. They don't chase approval. They don't feel the need to prove their worth because they already know it. The truly wealthy, the ones who carry real influence, move through life with a sense of inner certainty. They don't talk about how powerful they are. They don't list their accomplishments to gain respect. Their actions speak for them. Their presence alone tells you everything you need to know. But most people do the opposite. They seek external validation at every turn, whether through expensive possessions, social media, or constantly reminding others of their achievements. They believe that if they can just be seen as successful, they will finally feel successful. But here's the problem. If your worth depends on external validation, it's never truly yours. People who try to prove themselves often come across as insecure. They over-explain, they exaggerate, they try too hard. And ironically, the more you try to convince others of your worth, the less they actually believe it. Because true confidence, real, unshakable confidence, doesn't need an audience. It just is. Think about the most respected figures in history. Did Einstein go around reminding people he was a genius? Did Bruce Lee boast about being one of the greatest martial artists of all time? Did Warren Buffett need to flash his wealth to be recognized as one of the world's greatest investors? Number. Because they didn't need to. Their work, their discipline, their presence spoke for itself. There's an undeniable power in not needing to prove anything. It means you are centered within yourself. It means your confidence doesn't depend on external approval. It means you don't waste energy trying to convince others. You simply exist as proof. So, how do you embody this? Start by detaching from external validation. Stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You don't owe people a justification for every decision you make. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Instead of telling people how great you are, be great. Learn to be comfortable in silence. The most powerful people in the room are often the ones who say the least. Because at the end of the day, the people who matter don't need to be convinced. And the people who need convincing, they don't really matter. When you no longer feel the need to prove your worth, something incredible happens. You become someone who is simply undeniable. There is a kind of wealth that goes beyond money, a presence, a way of existing in the world that doesn't need to be announced, yet is impossible to ignore. The wealthiest, most powerful individuals don't rush. They don't seek validation. They don't prove themselves to anyone because they don't need to. Their actions, their choices, and the way they move through life say everything. This isn't something you can fake. It isn't about buying expensive things or mimicking confidence. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally commands respect through emotional stability, presence, and a deep understanding of what truly matters. Because wealth isn't about how much you own. It's about how much control you have over yourself, over your time, over your emotions, over the way you carry yourself in the world. Most people chase status. They seek approval. They move frantically, always trying to prove something. But the ones who are truly wealthy, the ones who attract success effortlessly, move differently. They walk with quiet certainty. They value substance over noise. And because they don't need to impress anyone, the world takes notice anyway. So ask yourself, am I moving through life with intention, or am I still trying to prove my worth? Because the day you stop chasing validation is the day you start attracting everything you once pursued. And that is real wealth.